So good to have you with us. I'm your host, Jim Masters. Hey, thanks for joining us. Hope you're having a good day today. This is our entertainment, lifestyle, celebrity talk show series where we come together right here on this channel at these times and we have a good time together. Nothing too crazy, just lots of good times, laughs, great entertainment, good conversations, and everything else we can throw at you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good day. Crazy busy day for me. I was on radio. I did about 5 radio show episodes and radio interviews. And then I had a television shoot in the afternoon and then ran from that to here to Lovety Hall, as we call it, the Jim Masters show, and dusted myself off, got ready, and here we are. And it's so cool to have you here with us. If this is your first time watching our series, hey, welcome. It's good to have you with us. We reach an international audience. Everybody watches from around the world. And gang, if you would like to comment during the show while the show is on live right now, you can do that in our JMS Lovety Hall chat room. What the heck is that? Well, actually, that is a Lovety Hall chat room. It's the chat room, the chat section on the YouTube channel where you can comment, say hello to one another, and say hi to us, say hi to the guests. And we love that. So many of you like to do that as well. So when you subscribe to the YouTube channel, which costs $0, so I don't know why they call it subscribe, you can easily be a part of the Lovety squad and you can comment right now, say hello. We might even sprinkle a comment or two on the bottom of the screen as well. How cool would that be, right? Now, of course, at any time you can comment on our YouTube channel in the comment section and give us a like and subscribe and all. But if you do subscribe, it's a gift we give you here exclusively on the Jim Masters show. And that is the ability to chat with one another and with us in the Lovety Hall chat room. How you guys doing? Crazy busy day. It's been nice here on the East Coast. We're in the New York area, right? New York City, New Jersey, Connecticut. We're along the Southern New England coast between New York and Boston. We've had an extraordinary winter, meaning no snow, at least along the coast here. We haven't had really any snow. But watch, as soon as I say that, we'll probably get hit with some. But we do like snow around here. It's good, keeps the reservoirs full, and also the ski slopes need it and want it. And but they're getting it in California. We were talking to some family and friends and a couple of people I interviewed in my professional work today on radio. They were saying it was like snowing in La Jolla and Los Angeles, sleet and snow. It's crazy time. So, you know, when life gets crazy, just stop by the Jim Masters show live series. We'll always sort of temper it for you here as well. We have an extraordinarily creative, artistic, and acclaimed guest. She is a fashion icon extraordinaire. She is a beloved and celebrated shoe designer. She's a philanthropist. She's an art dealer. She's a hotelier, a restaurateur. And all that's just on Thursdays. And she's also creating a shoe museum. Yes, a shoe museum in the heart of New York City. She's like the shoe queen. You thought Imelda Marcos was the shoe queen? Our very special guest, Vanessa Noel, is. And this is something that she's dreamed of for years. And she is a special guest coming to us from Manhattan, New York City. We're going to show you some of her extraordinary designs. We're going to show you a little bit of the process. She sent some sketches along of how, she creates the designs. And in addition to the shoes that she's known for, and they're incredible, uses, of course, the finest ingredients to create the shoes. She also does handbags and a lot of other fantastic things. So we're going to show you some of that. And we've got a cool video to show you as well in regards to a gala celebrating the museum that is coming. It's really, really cool. Yes, Vanessa Noel is here. Noel, oh yeah, what a great last name. What a great name, right? Fashion icon, shoe designer, and just an extraordinary person. She and I have been chatting several times this week in preparation for the show. She's so excited to be here. We're excited to have her. She is an American luxury shoe designer, hotelier, as I mentioned, gallery owner, restaurateur, philanthropist, founder of the Noel Shoe Museum, the first shoe museum in the United States. First one ever. And she is building it and creating it. It's going to be located right in Manhattan, right in New York City. For more than 30 years, Vanessa Noel's luxury footwear collections have graced the runways of Paris and New York. and hold a loyal following of celebrities, royals, socialites, style makers, and more. Considered works of art, Noel's designs are included in the permanent collections of the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City, the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, also museums in Germany and more. Known for her exquisite and glamorous footwear, Vanessa Noel has been considered a favorite among New York City's most discerning and fashionable circles, launching her fashion label and simultaneously her first boutique on Madison Avenue, East 66th Street back in 1987. Vanessa was also an immediate success. In 1990, she was inducted into the Council of Fashion Designers of America with recommendation letters written by Carolina Herrera, Ralph Lauren, Carolyn Rome, and many others. Yeah, really amazing. In the summer of 2002, Vanessa became the first American designer to own her own hotel with the launch of the first boutique hotel in Nantucket. That's right. It's beautiful. The Vanessa Noel Hotel, reflecting Vanessa's distinctive style, sleek and subtle, quite sophisticated. Vanessa created a refreshingly upscale yet laid back escape. Then in 2005, before the green movement, she's always ahead of the curve, becoming a booming lifestyle trend, of course, the green movement. Vanessa opened Nantucket Island's first and only environmentally conscious luxury hotel, the Vanessa Noel Hotel Green, emphasizing a modern approach to organic luxury and social responsibility. Vanessa also owned and curated the largest contemporary art gallery in Nantucket for over 10 years. She's also held positions on a number of prestigious brands, including serving as the first and to date only female to hold a title on the board of Round Hill Hotel Villas as vice chairman in Jamaica. And Vanessa was honored by the Madison Square Boys and Girls Club at the 2012 Salute to Style event. 2018, she received the Woman of Distinction Award presented by Jamaica College of Old Boys, Association of New York, Griffin Awards. And now in the 36th year in business as the sole designer, CEO, and owner of her branded label, Vanessa Noel is so passionate for her latest creative endeavor, the Noel Shoe Museum. The museum will be the first shoe museum, as I mentioned, in the U.S., located in New York. And as the record shows, Vanessa accomplishes every project she puts her mind to, and you will be stepping into the Noel Shoe Museum very, very soon. How cool and how exciting is that? That's just the short list, folks, of her accomplishments, of her passion, of her projects, and the cool things that she has done and she continues to do. So I can go on and on and on, but why don't we welcome our illustrious guest, gracing our presence with her presence here in Lovety Hall on the Jim Masters Show Live series. I see a lot of comments coming in already. Thanks, gang. You guys are the best. Love having you here. We'll take a look at some of those as well. If this is your first time here, welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live series. And here is Vanessa Noel. Vanessa, welcome to the show, my friend. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you here.
Hi, Jim. It's my honor to be in Lovety Hall. I'm so excited, and I love listening to everything you said that I did. I was like, oh my God, is that really?
That
I
is
think we need a
you.
vacation.
Just from hearing the list of things, right? It's extraordinary. I mean, how do you balance it all? How are you able to have your hands on so many different things and be able to manage it all? Of course, it takes a team, of course, of people around that are supportive. But how do you do it? It's really impressive, and it's also empowering and inspiring for others who want to do things in their life as well.
So I love creating things, and it's just to me, it's just an art form. And so opening the boutique hotels is an art form. That's the way I approached it. I actually looked at the properties first for my shoe store, and then realized Nantucket did not have a boutique hotel and one that was more
Right.
modern for the wants of people of today. So we did it, and you just start. You start and you sort of plod along, and it's a little crazy the way I work because it's not a very big team. It's a very tiny, tiny team. Even the painters, I tell them, mix these colors, and they painted a shingle and they FedEx it to me here in New York. And I'd call them and I'd say, add more white or more gray or take this out. And they did it again and again until I'd say, paint the ceiling. That's the color. Let's work on the walls.
That's
So
cool. How many viewers watching right now have ever had a shingle FedEx to them? Probably not many. That is so cool. You're really hands-on with all of it.
oh, completely hands on. I show up at the tanneries and the shoe factories. I mean, I come in with all, depending on my mood of designing. Sometimes I've been known to show up with like pipe cleaners or even, caution tape wrapped around shoes in particular ways and bows. And I love it. The modelistas come out and, what are we looking at this season, Vanessa? And
Yeah,
I'm
right.
I'm sure they scratch their heads and they're like, okay, here's our designer. But it's all the creative process. So you have to keep on listening to your inner soul and you keep going.
Your
It's
inner soul, a different spelling, of course. But it
that's
all
very
comes
funny, Jim.
together. It all comes together.
I have
So,
two little delicious toy poodles. You might hear them barking later.
yes, I was telling Vanessa that if that happens and they jump on her lap, run with it, go with it, because, that happens all the time with our guests. And, there's nothing like showing some unconditional lovity, as we call it, to them. So they're lovities already.
Their
Um, so
their
this is
levity
really
keeps me grounded.
the levity keeps you grounded. Exactly. I love that. So you grew up in beautiful Pennsylvania, the Keystone State, and early on for you, there's always inspirations. There's always things that we pick up as a kid, as a teenager, as we're going along. When Vanessa was a young girl, were you always doodling, drawing, creating? Was art something that you gravitated to early on in your life? And what were some of the inspirations and maybe some of the people that inspired you along the way as well?
Oh, absolutely. Art was my world, whether it was my fantasy world. I have an older sister, but she was 6.5 years older, so often I was alone when I was growing up. And to me, like, you know, crayons, color pencils, I loved finger painting. Everything was about art and creativity. And, as far as the shoes go, I was telling a story yesterday. I remembered there was this pair of purple suede boots with fringe. And I had to have these boots. I was very young, I mean, maybe 8 years old, 10 years old. And I begged and begged my mother for these beautiful suede boots. So finally, these boots went on sale and she bought them for me. And I was thrilled. I was so happy. And about a week later, she asked me, like, where are these boots you begged me for? You love them so much and I don't see you wearing them. And I said, oh, they're not my size. And she was like, what? What do you mean they're not your size? You begged me for them. And I said, I love them. I have
Wow.
them. I look at them in my closet and I'm so happy. She just thought that was so strange. But she told me later when I actually became a shoe designer, she said, now I understand all
Now I
those years
understand.
ago. My mother
Yeah.
was a huge, huge supporter um, of me as a person. So was my father. You
Yeah.
know, my mother always said, no matter what you do, never go into fashion. And I said, okay. And exactly where I went. But they knew that this was a gift that I had. And they knew that wherever I took the creativity, it was something I had to do. And I did it. I mean, they just were like constantly like, oh my gosh, you're opening your first store. Or when I went to Italy, I came to New York. I went to Cornell University and I came directly to New York City. I wanted to design shoes, so I called the Italian Trade Commission, and I wrote them a letter, and I got 3,000 addresses of upscale shoe manufacturers for women. So I'd go out at night and I'd come home late, and I'd sit down and start writing letters, and I'd each person, and I'd post them the old snail mail way because that's what we had. There was no fax machine and no cell phones. So off they went, and pretty soon I started getting letters back and telexes. Some I understood, some I couldn't figure out what they were trying to tell me. So I did it again, the entire process. And then out of that, I picked a factory that I thought I could work with, that I thought I could understand. So I remember it was July, and I rented a car, and I didn't rent a car. I flew to Milan, and I rented a car. And it was the first car I'd ever rented in my life. And I was in a foreign country and I couldn't speak the language. And back then they had the big fold out maps. And I was trying to
Mm.
find a town that I couldn't even pronounce, let alone spell. And I sat in the parking lot having sort of a quick little panic attack, thinking, what are you doing? You should be back home in Nantucket on the beach. Um, but here I was, and I couldn't crawl back, so onward I went, and found the factory and showed them my drawings, and I started. I was very
Wow.
excited, and
That's
my parents just couldn't
incredible.
believe where are you going? What are you doing?
Right,
So
sure, yeah. But how cool is that, huh? That that actually happened, the opportunity like that for you?
I was very lucky. It's very different today in the manufacturing and how the industry works. Everything's changed so dramatically. I think it's very difficult for younger people to get started. I mean, I don't know anybody else who started the crazy way I did. I didn't work for anybody prior. Um, and today, I'm not quite sure anyone could go knock on a door and walk into a factory.
Yeah.
I was lucky they took me, I was told, because they just liked me and they liked my drawings. And they thought I had a lot of tenacity since I was this young American knocking on their front door and wanting to design shoes.
Mm.
So, you work hard, and 36 years later, it's amazing, amazing.
So fashion was something you were always in tune with and you always enjoyed and shoes. And were there people, uh, maybe on television and the movies that you also admired that were very well dressed and glamorous and always fashion forward, whether they are, performers or actors, actresses themselves, singers, whatever they may be? Or there are also other designers that you've always admired and been inspired by?
So, interestingly enough, when I think back to those days, I don't think of any actors or actresses that inspired me. When I was 3 years old, it was the first time I went to Europe with my parents in the summer, and we took like the old Queen Elizabeth ship out, and we were in Florence for a bit, and my mother took us, my sister and I, to Emilio Pucci, the palazzo, and
Hmm.
she picked a fabric, and they made three different dresses for three different age groups um, for us. And this was my parents were so glamorous, and their lifestyle and the way they dressed and everything we did. I believe that was my world of inspiration, and it was a great, great influence on me.
Mm.
I always wanted to be older. I always wanted, the dress my sister had or the shoes my sister had. But I think that's a natural younger thing to do when you look upwards. And when I finally, Maud Frison was a shoe designer that I absolutely adored when I was of age, and I guess like in the late 70s. And I suppose she was a great influence. It was her artistic quality that was in the shoes, the whimsy that she had in the shoes. I just fell in love with them. And I got three pairs of shoes for a graduation present. I remember when I got to school, I carefully put little um, nails in the wall and hung my shoes by the heels like artwork on the wall. And I kept doing that every year of my college. And I came to New York and continued to do that. I started just hanging all my shoes on the walls. When my father came to visit after I graduated or during graduation my senior year, he walked in my bedroom and he saw all these shoes on the wall. And he said, Maud Frison. He says, and I thought you were taking French lessons. And these were the books I was paying for. I was like, oh, I've been busted.
You were busted. That is so cool. Wow, what a great story. So how did it progress from there with that opportunity early that you mentioned to where you were able to then sort of get into a situation where you wanted to create your own look and feel and vibe and brand? How did that all start to develop for you?
It was when I was a senior and I got dressed and I wanted a pair of shoes that I could visualize to wear with what I was wearing. And I didn't have those shoes. And I was so frustrated. So I decided I was going to start drawing shoes and designing shoes on paper. I was still in college, and actually, my thesis became portraits of myself seen through shoes. And when I graduated, I was dead set on going to New York City and designing shoes. I had didn't want to work for anybody else. My mother had taken a trip with me into Italy to a leather show. When again, that was in Florence, and when after the show at night, all the streets were flooded in Florence of all these men. It was a very male-oriented industry, and everyone had like a black leather jacket and jeans on, and everybody had a camera, and they were taking pictures of anything that didn't move in every window, leather, clothing, shoes. It was crazy. And we said something to each other, obviously in English, and a man responded, and it was Stuart Weitzman. And of
Mm.
course, my mother saying, "Oh, my daughter wants to be a shoe designer." And he said, "Well, have her come and talk to me when we're back in New York." And he gave me his card. So I actually, was prodded by her. So I made an appointment and I went in for an interview and I brought my sketches, and it couldn't have been more wonderful and more lovely. And I went home and I called her and I said, "It was great." And she said, "Did you get a job? Do you have a job?" I said, "No." She says, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, he offered me a job, but I figured if I was good enough for Stuart Weitzman, I was good enough to do it for myself." Oh, she was so mad. But I did it for myself. And then I don't know how many years later it was, maybe 5 or so. Um, I had a little teeny store in Manhattan that I opened, and there in my window was Stuart Weitzman and his wife, and they were taking pictures of my window. And at first, I ran out saying, "Hi, how are you? It's so nice to see you." And I was thinking, "Wow, look, I did it." And he didn't recognize me at first. And then I said, "Oh, you don't remember? Do you remember that? I was younger and I came to you." And he said, you, you, Vanessa Noel. Oh my God. And then
Right.
I realized, oh, you're taking pictures of my shoes. And
Wow.
there's certain pivotal points. As a creative person, you're always judging yourself so harshly and hard, and you're insecure about the next design or the next collection. I do things from a very, guttural, like, how do I feel about this?
Hmm.
Uh, I'm not being told what to do. I'm not having inspiration boards of other people's work. In fact, I don't want to see anybody else's work. I want it to come from me. And so it was wonderful when something like that, it's like, yes, you're doing the right thing, Vanessa. It's good. And so years later, still going.
It's amazing, right? And then it's just continued to progress. Do you remember the very first shoe that you designed that
Yes.
became publicly available?
Yeah, the first collections I did had some of those designs. And what's crazy, Jim, is occasionally, and it's like 36 years later, people walk into my store wearing those shoes. And I
Still
said,
wearing
"Oh
those.
my God, I can't believe you still have those shoes." And they still look good. And the proportions, for heels and different boxes on some of the stilettos, the proportions from the 80s have changed a lot. But for some of the flats, not at all. And it's sort of fun. They were more, the 80s was a different time. You go through different colorations. I did some shoes with poinsettias all around or hearts all around. People still love them. And I've been asked to redo them. It's like, oh gosh, this is crazy. I said, first of all, I should make shoes that don't last that long.
Right. Isn't that incredible? That's a testament to the quality and
Yeah,
workmanship that all these years later, they still come in and they have them, they love them. And, you know, the designs are unique too. It's not something they're going to find everywhere else. So they really hang on to them, which is really fantastic. Probably open up some closets of your clients and they're filled with Vanessa Noel shoes over the years and all the different designs. And I would imagine, sometimes people might even ask, so when you're going for shoes, some people go just for comfort, some people go for the look, the style, the design, but you take all of that into consideration, right? It could look great, it could look like $1 million, but if it's killing your feet, It's
No, it's no
comfort
good.
and design are
So
both
sometimes you
important.
correct. Sometimes you go out and you see a shoe that's has great shelf appeal. It's very decorated. I always say, it's all about. First of all, it's about how it feels. If your feet hurt, no one sees your feet hurting. They see it on your face
Yeah.
and they see it on your body language. I'm a female. I make my lasts, my heels, all the designs, and I walk in my shoes. I walk in my heels. They have to be comfortable. And you know, to me, it's also that's number one, and it's also how does that shoe look on a woman's leg? So I create, where the ankle straps are just a little below the ankle. There's certain things you cut down lower and higher in places, so you cover up the toes. It looks more beautiful to give someone a longer leg. It's so important. I mean, this is what fashion should do. This was the old ideas of like very fine tailoring. If a man has an incredibly tailored jacket, it hides a multitude of sins. And the same thing for a beautiful, beautiful cut shoe. Not only is it more comfortable to walk in, but it can give you a much longer leg, a thinner leg, more narrowed foot, maybe where you need it. Your toes aren't out touching the ground. Some things I see of people, I just, oh my God, it's awful. And I think a woman should wear a shoe. The shoe should not wear the woman.
Mm, that's well put. Absolutely. Uh, it's probably hard to really even put it into any sort of a description just because there's so many different looks and feels and designs. Um, is there a Vanessa Noel feeling, look, vibe? How would you describe that?
So yeah, I have a very broad creative palette, let's call it. So it's sort of a whole lifestyle wardrobe of shoes where, there's flat, there's sporty, there's rubber soled, there's flip flops, all the way up to very high extreme evening encrusted beautiful shoes. So, is there a vibe? So, years ago, there were editors who said, I'm a couturier designer of shoes because I'm out there, like, I'm 2 years out with some trends. And so, I said, buy this now because when you come back, I'll be on sale. You're going to be first to wear, let's say, zebra. And people come back and they say, you're right, you're right. And there's a sexy elegance to my shoes. It's not a cheap elegance, although they can be very naughty. And I guess that's the vibe.
That's the vibe. Exactly. Yeah. It's however you're feeling that day. You go over there inside the closet and pull those out, or go onto that section of the closet, pull those out. You've, through your hard work, none of it is easy. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears, investment, years put in, really extraordinary. You are like an American success story on so many different levels, and very empowering to others, women and men who are looking to go into business, to maybe share essences of who they are through their art, through their craft. Um, in the case of the shoes, it's really extraordinary that you have what is an incredible reputation too, from celebrities, royalty, socialites, folks that absolutely year after year, month after month, come to you and depend on you to have these fabulous designs for them. Tell us about how it's grown into that situation over the years where celebrities and royalty and socialites and everybody comes to Vanessa Noel in New York.
So, Jim, I think it's a lot of word and mouth, and you said reputation, and that's very important. I put all my love and so much into creating shoes and designing them, and I really, really care. I think today fashion's become very corporate, um, and it sort of misses that care and the love from the designer. And I'm still the sole designer. I go to the factories, I manufacture, we fit try the shoes. I work in the tanneries, we create special colors, special fabrications. Every single pair of shoes that goes onto somebody's foot is really important to me. These are the people who have made my dreams come true. They depend on me. I remember some of the first times way back when people brought their evening gowns in my store and I had to put a pair of shoes and I was so nervous because that woman was going out to a wonderful ball and she was wearing my shoes. What if they hurt? What if they broke? I mean, it's kind of this silly things to think about, but they didn't. And it's all about, I don't skimp on the manufacturing, sort of like Fabergé, you know, eggs or jewelry. It is
Right.
the best quality, the softest skins, the best shoe component parts, and mouth, word of mouth, one to another. It's beautiful. They tell them, and they come in. We do so much special ordering, especially in the skins and handbags. I created a translucent alligator skin, which is so incredible, never seen before. And that 24 karat gold alligator is actually 24 karat gold blown into the flesh of the skin. And so it's like jewelry on your arm when you carry it or when you wear it on your feet. And shoes are necessities, they're not accessories. And if you're going to have to wear something, it should be really, really special. You might wake up in the morning, you've got to run for orange juice or make your kids breakfast. Why not put slide into a really pretty shoe and it just makes you feel happy? You feel better.
I tell you, well, you're known for your exquisite and glamorous footwear and the sumptuous fabrics and other rare materials that you use from, exotic skins and gemstones and so much more as you handcraft the footwear collections that, as I mentioned, have graced some of the incredible runways of Paris and New York and so much more. You search for and go, all corners of the globe to find the best of the best when it comes to those ingredients, right?
It's part of this creative process and it's bringing something alive out of something else so other people can enjoy it as well. It's interesting all these years and working so hard to accomplish and to create these things. Then, you mentioned my shoe museum. So almost 9 years ago to date, I actually had a massive heart attack and it came from nowhere. I had no cholesterol issues, no
Mm.
high blood pressure. I was really super lucky. So I actually was in the doctor's office and I was under a sonogram, so I have a film of it. So I weirdly think that's kind of cool. But because of this, it made me really focus on, wow, what if? And out of that, I decided there should be a shoe museum because we don't have one. And there's so many Picassos in my industry who have gone, and they were so important. um, so I went forward and we got our 501c3 through the Board of Education, and we're building the Shoe Museum in New York. And part of the mission statement, it's very historical and educational, so we can learn about man through the evolution of the shoe. And you can really learn a lot about mankind and what society's doing through the footwear we've worn through the ages. So and it's fun, it's exciting. We're teaching kids history through looking at shoes, which is a new way I think to entice younger generations. And hopefully, it's this great legacy project. Part of what I can do to sort of give back and create a new super fabulous institution for New York City that I love so much. And the pandemic was a terrible time for all of us in so many ways, and we had to stall out, but we just started again.
Yeah,
And it's a new huge project, but it's a very cool way after all
it
these
is.
years with my shoes and how to get there. And it's inclusive of all designers, not just me, which feels really good.
Got a clip of video we're going to show in just a minute or so here in regards to that. But I wanted to note, which I think people would find quite cool and quite interesting that you were able early on in your world to make those social connections as your mother was friends with Grace Kelly and presented at the Philadelphia Charity Ball in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and the International Debutante Ball in New York City. Of course, first launched the shoe line in '87, but that Grace Kelly connection, quite nice.
She was beautiful. She was amazing.
On so many
Yeah,
levels, right? Yeah,
yeah.
on so many incredible levels. And yeah, I think a lot of people, she was influencing a lot of people. In addition to these things we've been talking about, um, you are somebody who is a philanthropist and you love to give back on so many different levels. And gang, for folks joining us, we're going to show you some of the incredible work, the shoes, handbags, a lot of cool things. So thanks for joining us. We've got a lot to show you here. But charities. You serve on the board of the Hanover Charities. You sit on the council of Oceana, serving on the advisory board of the White Heron Theater Company, vice chairman on the board of Round Hill Hotel and Villas in Jamaica. That is fantastic.
So you have to do things you love in life. I tell people, we're all born with different gifts. So you have to hone into what makes you happy and what gifts that you personally have. So obviously I'm creative. Thank God I love that. And I love, love, love to give back. So, you know, it makes me feel good. It makes me get out of bed or sleep better at night. So, the board of Hanover Charities is so amazing. It's in Jamaica, and we've opened soup kitchens. We bring things to the hospitals. We have great scholarship programs, and we raise money for this. And we teach the kids how to go forward and to do what they're great at, to give opportunities. And that's what it's about. Not everybody has the opportunity to go grab something or the luck. There are super intelligent kids that do super well in school, and we help push them. Um, we found at first the girls were doing really well and excelling, and we had to sort of pick up the boys, like, what's wrong with you guys? Come on,
Let's
work
go.
harder. You know, Jamaica needs dentists. There's an opportunity here to better your life and do
Hmm.
something you like if you like that. So we've, for so many, from organic farming to whatever it is, I think it's important for everybody all over the world to figure out what they like to do, have that dream for themselves, and go after it. And it makes you feel good. And once you do things and you sort of have, you've processed it and you've done something, you begin to
Right.
build a happy confidence. And
Isn't
maybe
that
you get the
incredible?
levity inside of you.
The levity with the happy confidence. Yes, you take happy confidence and sprinkle in some levity, and you've got it made on so many
And I
different levels. I
I
love
love the
that.
oceans. We have to take care of our oceans.
Yes, I
You
agree.
know,
I'm an ocean guy.
humans
I love
lose
it.
their sort of piglets. And, way back
Yes.
when you mentioned my green hotel, I started working with non-chromium dyes and leathers to make things more natural in our world and less chemicals in the soil, because so many of the tannery owners and factory owners we worked with who lived near the tanneries, the families all had cancer. And it's the
Mm,
chemicals in the soil, it gets in the water. So I started working with those. I'm not perfect. I still use things with chromium and we use things without. I try to drink water distilled out of bottles, but sometimes I get a plastic bottle. But I think in life you do the best that you can do, and
yes.
hopefully it's helpful and we move forward. So Oceana is again a phenomenal organization, saving and cleaning our oceans and the incredible fish that live in there that are so important for us. So I'm proud to have been, part of that. And, you know, it's great. There's so much to do in life, and there's so many things that everyone can give to. So pick what you like and help. And that's
I
always the way I am. It's
I love that. That's exactly right. Pick what you believe in and what causes matter to you. And stick with them. And yeah, the ocean does need our assistance. I mention all the time, I love the ocean. I grew up on the coast. We're here along the coast now, just within a couple blocks of the actual ocean, and grew up out
Mm.
east on Long Island in New York and surrounded by, the ocean. And you gotta drag me out of it. Swimming, surfing, boogie boarding, walking it, sailing it, whatever I can do, even to the point where we've been in Florida visiting family. I'm in the Atlantic. They're packing up, ready to go, the family. And they're like, okay, Jim, we're
Come
getting
on,
ready to
Jim. Come on,
go.
Jim.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, how come? And they're like, well, it's starting to rain. I said, but I'm in the ocean. I'm already wet. They said, no, no, no. In Florida, it's rain and lightning. You want to get out. But
Everywhere. You want to
eh,
get out.
you want to get up and get out. I want to show, we'll talk about the museum in just a second, which is really, I cannot wait to visit it. It's going to be really, really cool. But we have some fabulous photos that you and the team have sent along. And maybe we can do sort of like a photo show here, and you can describe to us and for our viewers watching around the world what we're seeing as we show. Like, we'll start with this one. Tell us about this, Vanessa.
So this is just a combination of some different shoes I had designed, and I just thought they looked very lyrical and pretty together. When I look at this, I sort of hear music,
Yes.
strangely. Actually, the one on the far left, the blue one, was part of a group that I was taking sort of street tattoo art off people that I saw and trying to bring it to a couture level in shoe wear.
How cool. So you're inspired by things that you just see in everyday life as well, just living, huh?
Correct. I mean,
That's great.
absolutely. That is, nature is an inspiration.
Yeah,
Obviously, tattoos on people were an
sure.
inspiration. The second shoe in Python, you can't really tell by the photo, but the inspiration for that was coral
Mm,
um, and sort of reef. And when you see the shoe on the person, you can see that. Um, but it was nautical, doesn't read nautical, but it's very pretty. Uh, and they're all wonderful on the foot. Um, I think I sent you a sketch that was of the fourth one with all the strips and pieces. So it's,
yeah,
you know, taking
yeah.
sort of fun bondage down to footwear in a very
How it's
delicate
all
way.
how it's all put together, which when you get a chance to see some of that, folks, the actual process, it's really, really amazing on so many different levels. We have a couple of them here, and we'll bring up some sketches, and maybe you can tell us what we're seeing. Like, here's a sketch
Ah,
here on this one.
that's a sketch of the coral. So you can see sort of the like coral branches on the shoe, on the
Yeah.
straps. And the way this is, obviously it's a very high heel. The lower one, and it holds you up, so you're not sliding down. The top piece holds your foot up, and the lower ones hold you back. That was a great shoe. We love it. So that was the sketch.
Isn't that awesome? That's really fantastic. I really appreciate you, sharing these, because I know these are very personal, sort of behind the scenes, but it shows people, what it takes and what it's about. How about this one here?
So I designed, I think there were three shoes that I produced. They're done in the colors of Jamaica, the flag. And so we sold them and we gave them away for Hanover Charities to sell them. And all the profits went to the charity on those shoes. And they're beautiful on the foot. And it's sort of nice to have something when you come home to remind you of your holidays.
Yeah, isn't that fantastic? Here's another sketch.
So these were the strips. That was the one on top. We saw the shoe when I said it's sort of lightly, bondage with little light strips. Very pretty. It's about the intricacy and patterns, but there's no direct pattern. It's all sort of all over the place in an abstract way, which was it's so attractive. The bottom shoe has the same, but I enclosed the sides a little bit at the tip of the toe as a closed toe and to keep it very comfortable for your toes.
That's incredible. Our friend Wayne Scott Lucas is commenting and saying hello, as is everybody. And
Hi, Wayne.
yes, Yeah, this is really fantastic. And
And
oh
Jim,
yeah,
I
we
never show my sketches, so you are like one of the first.
this is an exclusive. Um, he mentions that you have you throw these fabulous parties, but also you and I were actually chatting on the phone. I'll have to see those because I mentioned I'm a green thumb and I'm a gardener myself. You've got these beautiful. This is separate, of course, from the shoe conversation, gang, but roof gardens, huh? He says,
I
ask her,
love,
Wayne says, ask
I,
her about the roof gardens. You and I were chatting about it on the phone. Yeah.
so, you asked me very early, like, how do you do all these things? Well, I'm never bored, but you need a break from thinking sometimes, or you just need to think at a different plane and sort of trick yourself because your brain's still going. And I love gardening. There's
Me
something
too.
about putting your hands in the soil and planting seeds and watching them grow, which is so
Yeah.
soulful. So I have,
Nurturing it. Yeah.
oh,
Helping it.
I'm so lucky I have this space on the rooftop and I plant tons of herbs and tons of vegetables and blueberry bushes. And people come over. We have some dinners in the summer and we're just picking cucumbers and putting them in the salad. It's a magical jungle of food.
That's incredible. It sounds really good to me, huh?
Oh, it's beautiful. And
Ah,
I wake up at, sunrise practically and I go up there and it's quiet in the city, green tea, birds are flying around. I'm in,
mm.
it's the sixth floor in Manhattan and they're birds. So I put up bird feeders this year, which was amazing. There's a million birds, but birds happen to be a little dirty too. So next year I might have a different plan for them to feed them.
They let you know they've been there.
Oh my gosh, they sure do.
Yeah. They let you know. That is funny. Here's another that we have that we would love to show as well. This is a cool one too.
So a lot of times people like things going up their legs, and it's sort of, you know, this is based on first of all a shoe that keeps, your toes in on the side, and it's a very thin strip across the top, so it still looks very thin and slinky, but it's very comfortable because your toes are nested, and the ball of your foot into that sort of little piece on the sides. And then how we did the pieces on top is actually more appealing for the leg and how it looks as it goes up your, whether some people have long legs or not so long legs. A girl with long legs can do pretty much whatever she wants. Girls who don't have that incredible length, you can look like you do, but you have to be careful how you wear things and what you wear. And that
Ex-
works.
exactly right. That's fantastic. That's a great one. Here's another.
This is taking sort of window space out. It's about the negative space and, sort of keyholes, if you want to call it. So this was somewhat inspired. I went to La Scala in Milan and was listening to this incredible musical symphony. And I had this little teeny sketchbook, which I have with me quite often, and it just inspired me to pull it out. And this was dealing with the negative space of a chair
Mm,
I saw, and I created it into the shoe. And so sometimes when you want that shoe to be choked up higher, it's heavy. So by
hmm.
taking the negative space out there, it opens it up more and it makes it more delicate on the foot. It looks great.
This is a cool photo that we have here.
Ah, it's a photo of a bunch of my heels that I've designed. And I've got so many, and that's just sort of a shot of upstairs off the garden is my creative space to sort
Yeah.
of put everything out there. So when you make a last, you draw the last, you create this last. It's the heel height you want, and you do it out of a block of wood. And you work in a last factory. Once you decide that that's correct, the sculptural form you get, whether it's square toe, round toe, but it's much more complicated than just that. You bring that form back to the shoe factory. They put on a metal piece on the bottom. Then you go to the heel factory with your drawing and the height. Um,
Mm.
um, if you ever ask me back, I've got a great sort of little movie of how you make a heel, like how they're doing it. It's kind of incredible. We cut them out of wood first, and it's done with a computer. We put my drawing in, and then it all becomes measurements, and yeah, it's much more technical. But they say
Yeah.
it cuts it out of wood, and you put it on the shoe when you approve the sample. It all has to fit. You can't put
Hmm.
different heel heights on different things. Balance is completely off. And then these are the ABS plastic heels with steel injection in them so it can take weight and pressure. Um, and that's what those are. They're heels upside down, sitting on a shelf.
It's just so cool to see them. That's not something that most people get a chance to see. We're really giving them,
And
you
don't go
know,
home and take your like shoes apart.
don't
Don't
just
do that. They're
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. Vanessa Noel has that under control. She's already done that work for you. So you don't need to do that. Um, yeah, just it's incredible to see the process and to see, what we're looking at here. Here's another.
That's a last. That's one of the molds I was talking about.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And those are some sketches that I was doing that I was going to apply to that last.
Gives people an appreciation for all the work that goes into all of this.
This is there was a gold. This is the 24 karat gold alligator. So we are making a bag. So that's a picture of all the patterns that were cut out, and they placed on the alligator in different places, and they were cut out in pieces. It's sort of a puzzle. Here actually is one of the gold bags right there
Oh,
that became.
cool. Yeah, let's show that up close.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. It is. It's like jewelry. It's like gold. I actually carried this last night to the Orchid dinner in Manhattan, and I went with a very dear jeweler friend of mine who said he was so happy because he said my bag glistened the whole night. I was carrying jewelry.
That's
He
a great
loved it.
compliment, huh?
That's great.
That's it there too?
No, this is yellow alligator.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so I pick all the skins. They're all
Yeah.
first quality skins. Every skin is different, obviously, than natural. And alligators have to be culled out of the wild because there are too many. So there's only so many that can be taken every year. But anytime these people in Louisiana kill an alligator, they're tagged, and that
Mm,
tag lives through the life of the alligator. Even as the bag comes over the United States, it comes with the same code.
mm-hmm.
Everything is that tag. But I go to the factories, I pick out each skin personally because I pick out for certain qualities of beauty, and then we
Yeah.
decide what color uh, these skins are going to turn out to be. That's a
That's,
wonderful bag for summer, the
that's
blue jean
incredible.
color.
Yeah. That is really nice. Look at that.
This green python where you can sort of see with the shadows, it sort of goes to like a bronzy pink color. And this I worked with in the tannery pre-COVID. And COVID was such a crazy time, and all I wanted
Mm-hmm.
was luxury and creation to do things. So as soon as we were sort of lifted, I ordered all these skins. And not only decided to redo my store, but I put all this color python skins completely like wallpapered the first room in Python and then
Wow.
created these pocketbooks. I did shoes. I'm obsessed with this color.
That's a fantastic color. I mean, it's extraordinary.
I call
It
it poisoned emerald green.
Yeah, the shine factor as well is
It's
it's
a lot.
really beautiful. Yeah, green is my favorite color anyway, so I gravitated to that color immediately.
It's very nurturing. It's nature.
It is,
Yeah,
right?
it makes
Yes.
people calm
People
and
say, "Oh,
happy.
you like it because it's the color of money." And I'm like, "No, it doesn't have nothing to do with that. It's nature. It's
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 nature.
good. It's comfort. It's
I think they made our money green. Well, maybe because of the color of the ink, it was the only thing possible, but I don't know. But probably because a lot of people do like the color of green.
color of green, exactly. The grass is green, the leaves, Christmas. I mean, the Irish part of me, St. Patrick's Day. So we're good there.
Green.
Green, green, green. Here's another
These
great
are
one.
beautiful skins. Actually, it's gold, not 24 karat gold, and then black on top. So all the little crevices and natural pattern of the skins. The gold comes through in the cracks, and it's gorgeous on. We did sort of in a fun tote bag way, so it doesn't have to be taken so seriously.
Look at this one too. For those who love the red, there you go, huh?
And I fell in love with the skin. I loved all the bumpy qualities of it and the randomness, and yet the beautiful shadowing it had on both sides. It's got so much personality. This is an oversized sort of baguette, clutch to
Yeah,
hold.
it's fantastic. So if you think she just did shoes, folks, not quite.
This is a huge alligator tote bag. I made quite a few of these. The first one I did, I mean, I made bags for myself. I didn't think about doing them for clients. And it was
Ah,
a
so
designer,
it was you first.
it was me first. And Ralph Rucci saw this and said, I want that for my show. I said, no, 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 I just did that for me. And he
It's
looked at
just
me
yours. Yeah.
and he said, why? I said, I don't know why. And he said, you should do them for people, like customers. And I said, huh. How dumb of me, of course. So we started doing this. I
Mm,
do all special orders on the alligators now. So we have
yeah.
palettes of colors and things for people. I did this for traveling in Italy and, walk. It holds so much and they're light. They're not
Yeah.
heavy.
That's that's really cool. I mean, again, this might be surprising to people that you do all of this work as well, in addition to the fantastic shoes. I think it's extraordinary. But speaking of shoes, how cool is
Ah,
that one?
yeah, quite special. It's very pretty with this burst of feathers to make look into like a flower
Mm,
on the light pink satin. It's very pretty. We did these in all different colors, different colored feathers and different colored satins.
that's cool.
Whimsical, fun, flirty, pretty.
You were also mentioning the greens, of course, and here we go here, huh?
Those are the walls. And
Yeah,
pythons are actually, the skins are sustainable because it's called bush meat in Africa.
w-
And it's actually eaten and it's a great source of protein. And so then the skins are taken and we get to use them. And this is very interesting because the skins I put on very, very thin boards. We used a fish glue so it can be removed and used again if we so choose. And I actually had them velcroed to the wall so we can change them.
oh, did you really? Oh, so that you
Yeah,
could just take them right off. That's a good, what a great idea. They
you can
should have
have some
thought of that
fun.
years ago with wallpaper. Remember when everyone did paper and what it was like to paper and then to have to take the paper off
Oh, I
people's,
remember Lucille Ball wallpaper
oh,
with
when they ended
Ethel.
up with,
It
see,
was great.
if you were around then, the Velcroing would have been the idea. So you could change it, every 6 months if you're bored with how your kitchen wallpaper looks. You can change it.
Kind
See,
of like seasonal decorating.
you're always ahead of the curve, Vanessa. Always ahead of the curve. And then there you go. There, right? An example.
These are some of the shoes that came in that are made of the same green colors in the python. And so I went, there's different kinds of pythons. So this is a bit of a heavier scale to give it sort of that more, you know, not rustic, but not so pretty and elegant. I wanted something more sporty and strong. And
Really fantastic.
they're in the store now, and people are loving them. We're gonna have
They
to
are.
reorder, especially the one on the right is
Yeah.
almost sold out.
Wow. Look at this.
These glow in the dark. These are
Do they
another
really?
python. Yeah.
Now,
So
are
you can.
these just female? Are these male and female? Are these,
So I did
you know?
men's shoes when I very first started, but it's another factory. They're different skins, and then the box was so much bigger on the shelves.
Yeah.
And so then I just did women's, but so many men are asking me to do men's again. And so I was
Those are
considering
cool.
doing a couple. You like those? All right, I'll keep you
Those are
in mind.
cool. I love loafers. I'm so busy running around, I got to get in the car. I got to go to the studio. I got to do this. Sometimes there are, believe it or not, as crazy as it sounds, and you will get this, there are times where I don't even have time to tie the shoe
Yeah,
or the
I so
sneaker.
understand
So
that.
good. There's the loafers. We're going to go with the gray ones today. Slip in, get going.
Well, Jim, you can just leave these under a light as you're working, and when you go out at night, just throw them on, and you'll be glowing all the
See?
way.
See, there you go. She's also thinking of inflation and cost savings. This can actually light your room
This is
without you
like,
having to
God damn
pay
it, I
the
want you to see my shoes at night in the
see the
dark.
shoes and save on your electric bill because this will light up the room.
But it
I
makes you smile. They're fun, and this is what, like, we need more of that in our life. I mean, serious,
yes.
beautiful things, but life has to be, get a giggle. It's something to talk about,
Yeah.
and they're beautiful.
That's what we say at the show all the time, yeah, just make it light and enjoy. And here we go. Is another great shot.
These are more shoes that were, I think we put this on our website. These were, there's the leopard with the high front, this beautiful zebra um, hair calf, which is cow,
Yeah.
and with the red rim, which was really pretty, and showing the back of a shoe with a bow, just a little flirtation in the back. And the other's
So
an evening
cool.
meal, which I wore last night as well. That shoe on the far right, I'm so comfortable.
Yeah, huh?
Yeah, we had a lot of walking to do because sometimes these events are in hotels, and
Yeah.
it was a
So,
really crazy busy yesterday day, and I was
yeah,
so tired, and I was fine all evening long,
I
which was
tell
great.
you. Look at that, huh?
These are Usain Bolt's gold Pumas that he signed and gave to me for the museum.
Wow.
Usain Bolt, everyone knows, is the Olympic runner who,
Yes.
fastest man in the world. Um,
Yes.
he's an amazing example. He was born with scoliosis, bad
Yeah.
scoliosis, and he worked out and trained through such pain and became one of the most celebrated Olympians ever. So dreams come true. You have to work hard. I work so hard, but I love what I do. And so does Usain Bolt. And we love his shoes. We're
Mm.
so happy to have them.
Wow. You designed a pair of satin pumps encrusted in an incredible amount of carats of rubies, right?
Oh, yeah. So, strangely enough, we're thinking again of doing special ordered on the gemstone shoes. So, to me, the world is all about accessories. And I love jewelry as well, and I love shoes and bags. And, you can be wearing jeans and a white shirt, you change your shoes in your handbag and jewelry, and out the door you go. But it's very beautiful to put, jewels on and gemstones on shoes. So I did this quite a few years ago, and it was picked up everywhere. There was actually one pair that I myself sewed on. I had the ruby set, and I sewed them on with surgical needles, and the shoe sold. I got a phone call, and off it went. And I was so excited that the shoe sold, and very sad too because so many people were coming in to see it. So my
Yeah.
show and
Huh?
tell disappeared.
And then
We sold, actually, we did a much more conservative one with an emerald and in the center and two small rubies on either side. And Imelda Marcos bought a pair of those years ago.
wow.
Yeah.
I know that's cool. Well, speaking of that, and there's been a lot, like we talk about celebrities and royal and everybody. You you debuted back in 2004 the stretch alligator boots that became the signature, and the boots appeared on Kim Cattrall in Sex in the City, the movie, in 2008, huh?
Correct. Yeah. It was an
Wow.
iconic shot, actually, because she had that white fur coat and Peter threw, like, quote, fake blood on her. But um, yeah, she looked amazing in those stretch boots, as most everybody did, because it becomes your second skin. So most all my boots I design that go up the leg or up the thigh and things, they're all stretch, so they fit the narrow calves to a bigger athletic calf, but they're beautiful. It's not bulky. These that are showing now, these are American Indian boots, which are all beautifully beaded with stories. These are part of the museum.
That's fantastic, huh?
These are late 1900s. Yeah,
Wow.
quite amazing condition.
Yeah, that's extraordinary. So you're gonna the museum's gonna have some real vintage things in it for people to see and
Oh,
appreciate.
absolutely. We have a great collection. And we have these beautiful shoes that were actually children's shoes that were pre-revolution American. And the soles are made with iron and wood. Um, they're in such
Ooh.
amazing condition. They still have original laces and things. But I mean, can you imagine being a child and running around with iron and wood on your feet?
People
But
flip out today if your Wi-Fi goes down. Could you imagine?
no wonder. There's when you think about shoes like Converse sneakers, Converse was the Converse rubber factory before they created sneakers.
That's
So they
right.
were the first ones to put rubber on the bottom of shoes for basketball players. They were called no skids. I mean,
No
can
skids.
you
That's
imagine
right.
watching basketball players run up and down the court with leather shoes today? It would be hysterical,
It would
but
be,
be a very
yeah,
different game.
a totally different game on so many different levels. Look at this.
So this was a shoe. This is an interesting shoe. This shoe bought my townhouse. This was done on two different heel heights. So it took a number of years. I wanted a square toe, and I was working with the factories. It was very early on, and they kept refusing to do this last for me and a thick heel. They just didn't want to do it. So finally, I got it made. Um, when the collection came, I just hired a shoe salesman because I did it all myself. But I realized people like the designer to be over there as a designer and they want a salesperson to be a salesperson. So I hired this amazing old shoe dog, as we call them. And we were showing at the Plaza Hotel. And by the time I got to the store, the samples had come in and I hadn't seen them. And he had taken them to the plaza. And the woman who managed my store said, "Oh," I said, "how do they look?" She goes, "Fabulous, fabulous. But there's two shoes." She goes, "They're the ugliest shoes you ever did." I said, what are you talking about? What shoes?" And she pulled out the two samples, this one and a lower heel. I said, "What are they doing here?" And she said, "They're so ugly." I said, "Oh, that's the star of my show." And I had these 90-inch, like 3-inch heels on 90 centimeter, and I millimeter, sorry. And I ran over to the plaza from 66th Street carrying these two half pairs of shoes. I had a little mini skirt on. I was running and sweating down the. People must have thought I was crazy. I got to the plaza and I said, "You left these behind." And he said, "Really? They're part of it?" I said, "Really? This is it. This is everything. This is my future. Like, can't you see it?" I was so upset. So he says, "Okay." So at the end of the day, I went back and he says, "Come in here." And he had a bottle of champagne and sit down. I said, "What?" And he held up this stack of paper. And he says, "Do you know what this is?" I said, "It's paper." And he says, "Yes, but you know what this paper is?" I said, "What?" He said, "They're orders." He said, "Look." And I was so excited. It's the first time I had an agent. And he said, "Look what sold." Every single order was those two shoes. And, sometimes others, of course. But every single order across the board had those two shoes. Those shoes kept going and going and going for years. Um, Bridal market went crazy. Evening, I mean, finally I said, "I'm pulling the plug. I can't stand even looking at these shoes anymore."
Yeah,
We're doing them again. We're
the
doing them
demand
again.
is there.
People were coming in and asking, and they were, and in the shoe
I like the way
industry,
you
when we,
said that. We're doing them again. We're
oh,
doing them again. They want
God
them.
bless those Italians. Can you imagine having to make the same shoe over and over again?
It's like
I'd be
working in a
kill
pizza
me
place
now.
and making the cheese pizza all day long. You'd figure, we used to think as kids that people that worked at pizza places and ice cream shops were lucky because they get to eat that all the time. And they're like, we don't even want
Oh,
to touch it. We're
they don't even
surrounded by it
smell it.
all day long. You kidding me? We don't want any of that.
Oh my
That is,
gosh. Yeah. So
yeah.
the shoes were the high heel was knocked off by quite a few designers, and actually in Las Vegas, they were being sold as the Vanessa Noel shoe.
Oh,
but their
really?
price was a lot different. Nobody actually knocked it off well. I was,
Yeah.
I'd say names, but I won't.
Yeah.
I was always like, oh, that's okay. It doesn't really look like my shoe very much. I mean, you got the proportions wrong here, but fine, fine, whatever.
Well,
It was.
nobody will be walking in to the shop years later with a pair of those still on their feet like they do with yours. That's the
No,
true
no, I
test
don't
too.
think so.
Look at how cool these are.
These are
Wow.
super fun and super frisky. This is a playful show. Gorgeous
Wow.
fabric, yeah.
What is it? What do we what yeah, tell us about the
So it's a leopard print, and it
mm,
was designed and made with all these threads coming out, like fur, but it's
yeah,
fabric, and it's light, so it's not weird looking. It's actually great looking on the foot, and they're
cool.
certainly show stopping. Behind them is a candle that I have that we made, and um, and it's beautiful, and that's my signature packaging, which we shot off of an old Philadelphia carriage throw that my
Wow.
grandmother had
Wow.
from years ago. They're baby ocelot skins, but I mean, it's a very old piece, and I photographed it. So that's our shoe boxes, my shopping bags, and now our candles.
Stiletto, right? The name of the candle?
Correct.
And the fragrance. Yeah, the beautiful fragrance.
It's tubular rose. It's jasmine. It's a beautiful, beautiful smell, and it lasts for like 76 hours. And it's just,
Wow.
people say it smells like me. That makes
That's
me happy.
that's incredible. Now
These
these
shows,
are very, very special. Yes.
these were Mariah Carey shoes that I made for her.
Yes.
And inside you can see a little circle. That's a sixpence for good luck. Mariah wasn't used to wearing heels, but she needed a heel and I need to be stable. So I wanted her feet to look as pretty and narrow as possible. So I did the pleating and with the stones on it, and it was very pretty on her, and she was really happy. It was
Mm.
an interesting story because she was wearing a Vera Wang gown,
Mm-hmm.
and she had asked for my shoes. And Vera Wang said that they had this bride who wanted my shoes, but they couldn't tell me who she was. So down came this like 20-page document that I was supposed to sign that if anything got out about her shoes or anything that, legally blah blah blah. And I don't know who it is, and I'm not going to talk about her feet or her anything. So I said, I can't sign this because there's too many people who are privy to seeing her shoes, whether it's, people putting her in her dress or whatever. So I refused to sign it, but she wanted my shoes anyway. And when we went to the Mark Hotel back then, where Vera was having the salon um, on the separate side of Madison Avenue, we were standing outside waiting, and Mariah wanted me to come in first. I think it pissed Vera off, but I went in and I met Vera and her mom, but I didn't know who she was. I didn't know who Mariah was. And when I came back to the store, the person who managed my store said, "Who was it? Who's the celebrity?" I said, "I don't
Yeah.
know." And she said, "Oh, you're lying. What do you mean you don't know?" I said, "I really don't know."
You're lying. You're
And
so
names, like
immersed in the
I'll
shoe
hear names and
world.
they just go out of my
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
It was about a week later I saw her on TV and they saying Mariah Carey. I was like, "Oh, I know who it is. I know who it is." Yeah. But I made her the shoes and she was really happy. And I did all her bridesmaids too.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
that's really incredible, huh? What a great story that is,
She was a
huh?
sweetheart. She was great to work with.
Well, in addition, this, like I said, there's been a plethora of people. Your shoes have appeared, I said, in Sex and the City, the movie, on Oprah, the Martha Stewart Show, NBC News, music videos from Mary J. Blige and Janet Jackson, ton of fashion magazines as well, runway shows of Nicole Miller and Rebecca Moses, Chadwick Bell, Ralph Lauren, and many others. And also, Princess Michael of Kent wore your pumps to the royal wedding of Prince William and Kate Middleton back in the spring of 2011, right?
Yeah. And she's terrific to work with too, and she's great. We have shoes on hold for her on the shelves, and we get Royal Mail with a piece of fabric for a color, and we have them actually dyed here and then we ship them off to her. And when she shows up in New York once in a while, and she'll, pick another shoe, and we make them for her. Usually all in white satin, which we keep here until she needs a pair dyed, or sometimes we just have them made in the factory and shipped directly to England in regular colors. Um,
Wow.
Amazing style. She's beautiful. She's lovely, and I adore when she stops in.
That's so fantastic, huh? Maureen was saying with the shoes that were for Mariah Carey, I love those simple yet elegant.
Yeah.
Yes, our
She
lovely
looked beautiful the
viewers.
day of her wedding. I
I
mean, so many
must, yeah,
girls afterwards took that inspiration and had the same type of dress and the floral bouquet. She
yeah.
really was an icon at that wedding. Lasted a very long time. I was very proud to be part of it.
There's also this too, which people might not
Ah,
realize.
I call these my adult baby blankets.
Yeah,
So these
yeah,
are scarves. These are scarves, and they're. When I was in Nantucket sitting outside my hotel on a bench, along came a really wonderful puppy, and I was petting this puppy, and right behind his ears, it was so soft. The hair was so soft, and this older man sat next to me, and we were talking about the dog, and I was thinking and looking at the dog, and then looked at him, and his hair seemed so coarse. And I thought, wow, like people's hair does get coarser as they age. And I thought about cashmere and then baby cashmere because the chatouche is illegal. I wanted to create a scarf that was as light as a chatouche that could pull through a ring, and that was very warm. So I work with this very close friend of mine now. His uncle in Kashmir goes halfway up the Himalayas and picks up the hair that the mountain men who breed these Kashmir goats have collected from the babies. The babies are fine, they take great care of these goats. And then it's brought down the mountain, they clean it, they spin it, they weave it into a beautiful herringbone. I'm wearing one now. And they dye them to the colors that I ask them to do. And these are so addictive that when it gets cold and the fall's coming, most people are sad. But my entire office in the store was so excited because we get to wear our scarves. And I keep them in my pocketbook all summer long, a lighter summer color, of course, because if you go to a restaurant that's cold or a movie theater, you pull it out. I take them on airplanes with me. I don't want any of those skunky blankets that the airplanes have. And I pull out my scarves and it's like a blanket and they're warm and they're light and they're comfortable. So now I think we have like 50 some colors in the store. Um, they're fantastic, and they're just another yummy piece of luxury, which I'm so pleased to be able to have for people.
Isn't that fantastic? And as I said earlier, and you thought she just did shoes. She's quite the entrepreneur on many different levels. But speaking of some of that with the shoes, we do have some other great photos here. Look at those. Yeah.
Those are part of this poison emerald green python collection. They're just where how the light hits them, they come alive.
Mm,
Very
that's it.
pretty.
Yeah. Really, the color really pops on those. Here's another.
This is another one I did for Jamaica in the colors of the Jamaican flag. And you can see how those two cross pieces on top, they hold your foot up, so all the weight's not on, that little strap down on the bottom of your foot, which would hurt.
Mm, hmm. It's cool.
This is a beautiful black and white of another pair of wedding shoes that I did. I've during, gosh, back in the early 90s, it was right after Desert Storm, or because of Desert Storm. I tried to figure out what in my industry uh, would continue selling in a big wartime thing, because at that point I was known for my evening shoes, which all the black ties were being canceled in New York because our boys were at war. And I sold heavily to Bergdorf Goodman in evening. And so I sat home one night and we were watching the Desert Storm war on TV, which was just crazy phenomenal to weirdly watch a war in place. And I was with a boyfriend who I thought I would have probably broken up with before this, but everyone was so scared we were huddled together watching the war, and I thought, huh, maybe other girls will be doing the same thing, and maybe they'll end up more marriages. And so I went full on bridal. I took over this little chocolate store that had been next to my store. And I called my landlord and he said, "Oh, but the business is so bad." And I said, "If I don't do this, I'm out."
Yeah.
And I did tons of bridal, from flip flops to cowboy boots to satin hiking boots to shoes like this and
Mm.
all different heel heights. And it was phenomenal. People took red eyes in,
Wow.
from Germany, from Europe. I mean, I was, wedding shoe goddess. We did couture shoes for Valentino. He'd bring his brides in. Um, it was wonderful. And I'm still very strong on wedding shoes. And back then I said it's probably the only piece of your wedding ensemble you'll ever wear again. Don't save them white, dye them, wear them. If you have a child that's a girl, if she even likes the same shoes, she's probably not the same size. So, wear them. And they're great.
And
We
make
still do a
use
ton
of
of
them.
dyeing them in weddings. Yeah.
That's incredible. Here's another. Look at these.
It's beautiful Swarovski crystals, and it's a ruched fabric, very sexy on the foot, and very comfortable. Comfort and
Incredible.
luxury is something you usually don't hear together, but there's no reason why the word comfortable should not be luxury.
Exactly. You're mentioning boots. Look at this.
So this is a cool idea I had pre having to wear masks, by the way.
Right.
So this comes out of traveling, and traveling today. They lose your luggage. There's no one to help you with your luggage. So when you travel to Europe, I prefer having less to deal with. So you can take the mask off. This one's actually white satin for bridal, but we've done this in other colors, and it comes with different masks. So you can, let's say this is a black leather boot. So you can wear it with jeans during the day. If you're going out at night, you can put a mask on of Swarovski crystals, black crystals, faux fur, all different fun things we have, and it completely changes the look. So you have like two in one, or depending how many masks you have, many different things. Easy to pack in a suitcase, easy to change in and out, and it's fun, and it's sexy and cool. That's Mariah Carey shoes again. These are part of the museum. So these are Chinese, and Chinese women had their feet bound, and it was part of their culture. And when the Westerners sort of became more of an event in China and became very of the mode, let's say Western clothing, these are very rare. So these were shoes for bound feet made to in the Western style. They're very small. It's incredible. I mean, women couldn't move around. It was very subservient. It also meant that you weren't a peasant because you couldn't work and support yourself. And often, if women's feet were not bound, they didn't think they'd be able to get married, that they weren't attracted to a man. These are from England. These are part of the late 60s, 70s. These are big fat wedges and platforms when they came in style, which is very cool. They're part of the museum as well. These were gifted by a great friend, Catherine Adler, and she had them. And this is part of this is called a pattern. She didn't know where they're from. We've done research. They're Indonesian. They're early uh, 1920s, I believe, and it's all inlaid with shell. They're quite beautiful, and they're in really great condition. And it kept you up above the water, and that was the point, or dirt. These are some of my shoes that I did for a show. I believe these were done for Ralph Rucci's show. We did a lot of plastic, so you got to see a lot of the leg. So it was sexy and long legs, and brought them up to a different level for the moment. A wonderful little booty. I'm trying to do a lot of wonderful detail. So all those little circles cut out and sewed together. Very comfortable, very It could be casual. Again, you could wear it under jeans, but the details. It's all about the details and the proportions of this. These are interesting. These were actually made in New York City around 1925. These are I. Miller. I. Miller was one of the greats. It opened up an immigrant from Poland and opened up a great shoe factory in the heart of Manhattan. It's actually around 46th Street and Broadway. And they were so important for the industry and the immigrants coming into this city and this country and working. So this is part of the museum as well. We actually have this right here. Um, it's an incredible shoe. I love this, especially because it's part of New York's history and it's part of the immigrants coming into our country's history. They're beautifully made satin, and they're all paste blue stones. So we suspect that they were bridal shoes, and you have to have something new, something blue. So they were blue stones.
Incredible history with that too, and that's what's going to be
Yeah.
great about the museum is this history lesson you're getting as you're seeing the actual, you know, artifacts themselves. Look at these.
They're Parisian. They're beautiful. By the way, the I. Miller building is still there. So if people are in New York, go down to 646 and Broadway, look up, because it talks about the shoes on the side. And they did a lot of shoes for Broadway and celebrities. So they have the sculpture done into the building and the facade. It's beautiful. And it is very much part of our history. So these were late
These,
Rococo.
those are beautiful, huh? Wow. Look at these. Yeah, we showed those earlier. Look at
Yep.
these.
There again, that's the same maker out of London. These are very cool because they have a dragon, but this was sort of the first of that sort of very cool, we want to call it the hippie or the mod area with the
Hmm.
big fat platforms and the heels.
And this is a little bit more of what we were talking
Those are
about earlier.
the,
Those are,
yeah,
wow.
Chinese binding your feet.
Could you imagine getting your feet into those things?
Oh, so
I,
painful.
some people would have trouble putting a thumb in there. I mean, it's like I
What an
wouldn't want
awful
to be
thing.
walking in front of this person if they were angered at me. You know, I might have to go to see a doctor
Whoop,
after. Yeah,
skip.
yeah. Instant colonoscopy. No thanks.
I
That
don't think
is
that woman was walking very far.
no, no, and probably 5 feet behind. I don't doubt. Um, there's again. That's a great shot of you with the
Oh,
bag, huh?
and another blue scarf. Yeah, it's an incredible bag. So I do this bag also in regular leathers and deer skins, which is really beautiful and soft. Um, you know, bags are interesting. You have to get something that fits well. Sometimes they're too big, sometimes they're too small. So this is just created comfortably the right size. It's great for, daytime, lunch, going out to dinner.
Now, of course, I've been affiliated for years with public television and PBS, and we're known for some really cool tote bags. However, so are you.
So this was our first. So the museum, we do not have a location yet. There's a location we're actually eyeballing at this moment.
Yes.
Um, but we gave our very first gala at the end of October, October 25th, which was St. Crispin's Day. He is the patron saint of shoemakers and shoemaking and leather working. So this was the giveaway tote that we did with our logo. This was the menu, and all the menu ideas were like fillet of sole, or then we started with a wedge salad. We had twin burger sliders with shoestring potatoes. We were very shoey. We had
and
shoe confetti. It was so much fun and
and everybody
so
was
visual.
passionate and enthusiastic. There were no loafers there that night.
Oh, not a single
But
loafer. You weren't invited.
but the tote bags, is this the tote bags something people can get now?
Yeah, they can still get them. We have them, and they're reusable. Of course, they're linen. They're great. I saw one the other day. I was in a car going down the street, and some girl was walking down the street. She had one over her shoulder. I was trying to get my window down in the car to say, "Yay, I love your bag," but we were going too fast, and I was too slow getting the window
That's
down,
just
and
like
that was that.
that's I'm Vanessa. Yeah, sure you are. Uh-huh. Right. Exactly. That
Yeah,
is
who's the
funny.
crazy one out the window yelling, right?
Yeah, it reminded me of a quick story if I can remember it correctly. It was something to do with there was this little girl and she was actually she's Julie Andrews' daughter.
Wow.
And there were these women that were looking at, I guess, some, movie billboards, things of that nature, advertising that was promoting Mary Poppins. So the two women were sort of talking with each other about, oh boy, Mary Poppins, and boy, she's beautiful, and all of this. And the little girl, who happened to be Julie Andrews' daughter, happened to be there and said to one of the women, "Oh, yes, that is Mary Poppins. That's my mother." And of course, the woman said, "Oh, isn't that cute, Blanche? She thinks her mother is Mary Poppins." When really, that's Julie Andrews' daughter, and Julie was there.
She was Mary Poppins. That's
She
an amazing
was
story. I
Mary
love that.
Poppins. We This is cool too. It's a little bit of an idea of some of the different colors of things. Tell us about this.
So those are some of the different colors of the scarves that I do. And some of them are the colors of the moment. Others are colors that I think would look good on different people and what people would like to wear. Uh, each color, it's so difficult to make a decision. People come in and it's like, I want this one. Oh no, I have that color. Oh wait, we have an appointment
Yeah.
on Tuesday for a woman who's coming back. She was here last week and she called. She says, I need four more colors. I said, do you know which ones they are? I'll pull them. No, I'll have to decide, but don't let me buy more than four this
Four.
week.
She
I
likes
know.
round numbers.
I gasped, but I was like, okay. You know?
That's
I got a Christmas card from Aspen. It's actually it was not a card, but they sent me a picture. This woman is her husband, herself, her three sons, a son's girlfriend, and all of them had the scarves on because she'd given them all, and they all had to pose for a picture, which she sent back to us, which I loved. And they're all really
wow.
happy. It was very cute, very sweet.
How cool is that, huh? When you
Yeah.
get the feedback from people, whether they get the shoes for themselves or it's gift giving, whatever it may be, or the scarves or the bags, it's got to be, you've worked so hard with
Oh,
all of this. It's got to make you feel really good, like a warm spot in your heart, huh?
oh, I love it. But we fall in love with our customers, and we get to know them over the years. Some I've become very great friends with. Um, it's great, and it is a warm spot. It's like, wow, you took the time to
Took the
actually get your
time.
sons to sit there.
Right,
Yeah. Well,
exactly.
it's probably snowing and the slopes are pretty good, and you made them take this picture, which was kind of cool, and I really appreciated it.
That's so amazing, really, on so many different levels. We do have a video that we wanted to show as well, as we're showing all these incredible things exclusively here. If you're just joining us, folks, Jim Masters here. You're watching the Jim Masters Show live, entertainment, lifestyle, celebrity talk show series. And Vanessa Noel is here, extraordinary fashion icon, acclaimed American shoe designer, hotelier, restaurateur, art dealer, philanthropist. She probably even made the coffee that's in her mug. Founder
Yep.
of the Noel Shoe Museum.
Water.
She roasts the coffee beans herself every morning. I wouldn't doubt that. And she's my special guest coming to us from New York City, from Manhattan. And she is the creator of the legendary Vanessa Noel shoe line. We have a clip which is from the Noel Soul Museum Gala, just a little like 50-second clip. Did you want to preface that at all before we show it, Vanessa?
I wanted our first gala to be super fun. The electricity was so high. It was so much glamour. It was the opening up of New York last October. And there's a lot of boring galas out there, but people had a blast. And hopefully, You'll be able to see some of, we have a lot of fashion icons there. It was a great, great event. We're
That
very
is
proud and so happy. It's a
cool.
fun video.
Yes, yes, you do that again, I'll be there, that's for sure.
Oh, I
I
hope so.
will
That's
I will.
fabulous.
Here's a little clip, gang. Enjoy. Wow, that's incredible, huh? Jeez, it's
We even had two
amazing.
fly pie.
Did I see Deepak Chopra in there too? It's somebody that looked like
Yeah.
Deepak Chopra.
Um, there was a bunch of designers. We had Charles Oakley who got up and he talked about a Nike story that he had when he first started. He had sprained a toe and he was benched, and Nike flew him out to Portland, Oregon, and they made a special sneaker for him so he could go back and play, which was very cool. Um,
That is, yeah.
yeah, and he had just written a book, so everyone got a signed copy of his book in the Noel shoe tote bag. Uh, it was a great event, and everybody danced. Susan Lucci was there, um, Carolina Herrera, Fern Malice. I mean, so many fashion icons. It was great. They all came to support. Amy Fine Collins had the best dress list. Um, it was a fun night, and that's
We'd
what we
be
wanted.
remiss not to mention that you also opened up the Seven Seas Gallery across the street from the two hotels back in 2005. Tell us about the Seven Seas Gallery.
So the Seven Seas Gallery is this great building in Nantucket, and it's huge. It's very historic, and so I've opened up this gallery there, and I wanted to bring, artwork and things that I liked in a very eclectic way. And the whole back was this great sort of barn gallery. We brought in Peter G's, Peter Dayton's. Um, we had amazing artwork over the years in there. And the front, we sort of handled it in a different way. Even um, we had like a Han horse that even went off to a museum out in Michigan. Incredible things from incredible dealers. And then I brought people for coats and things from New York and, trunk shows and all sorts of craziness. Sort of like an old fashioned eclectic place. Uh, but we had a naughty nook of wonderful old, even Japanese and sort of like, you know, soft porn sort of things, but all very art. Um, and it was an incredible gallery. So
Wow.
I actually closed that
Yeah.
after I had my heart attack. So there was
Yeah.
only so much I could really sort of do for the next
Exactly.
year.
And, like I said, back in 2002, in the summer, you became the first American designer to own your own hotel with the launch of the Vanessa Noel Hotel. Um, Very first boutique hotel in Nantucket as well. Tell us about what that was like, because you always, summered in beautiful Nantucket. If people aren't sure where that is, that's, it's off the southern New England coast. It's not far from Martha's Vineyard. It's beautiful Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, beautiful spots to visit in the summer and the fall and the spring. What was it like to open up your own place like that?
Um, Daunting. I mean, sometimes if you think about what you're doing, you can't move forward. So you just have to go forward and do it. I remember I got these huge spreads in the Boston Globe, and they had photos and everything. They talked about all the paint colors. And when I was on Nantucket, it was so weird. I mean, in New York, you're sort of isolated, and when you get press, no one knows where you are and what building where, so no one bothers you. But there, it was like a bus let out. People kept running in. They were touching the walls. They were trying to run up the stairs to the rooms, and I was hiding in the kitchen. And my manager came. She said, "What are you doing in here? People want to know where you are. They want to see you." I said, "I'm not used to this, you know." And she said, "You always get press." And I said, "But I'm not used to people in my face about it." We had to put a ribbon. We had to have someone stand there so people wouldn't run up the stairs. It was so strange, but it was another great responsibility. It's somebody's vacation. It's their honeymoon. It's a holiday. They're getting engaged. All sorts of different scenarios. Why people come to the island, and they were staying with us. We had a great responsibility to make their trip and their time as wonderful as possible, even if they chose like a really rainy weekend or period. How do we make this work for them? I had the hotels for 17 years,
Hmm.
and then I decided to do the museum, and I was going to go. I had to make decisions. I was working with a company who wanted me to build a big hotel in New York, and they liked the whole hotel green aspect. They liked my fashion aspect, and so we were going to do a fashion art hotel that was all quote unquote green. And I pulled away from that project, and I decided I wanted to do a museum, and I sold my boutique hotels. We still get people reaching out trying to make room reservations.
Do they?
Yeah,
I want to stay at Vanessa Noel's.
yes. And I meet people all the time. Oh, I stayed with you in Nantucket. I stayed with you in Nantucket. I miss them. I loved them. It was phenomenal. I couldn't believe it was 17 years had blown by so quickly,
Yeah,
but
huh?
it was time. It was the next adventure, and the next thing to do, and it's this museum and my love of creating beautiful footwear.
The
So
mu- it's extraordinary. Again, it's like I said, it's quite the American story, on many levels. It's inspiring, it's empowering, it's creative, it's hopeful, it's exciting from a artistic point of view, from a business success point of view, from being spirited and passionate when doing everything from the heart and soul and handcrafted and with elements from around the world, with all the levity that you immerse in everything as well, and the charitable work you do, and just touching lives in so many different levels. It's really amazing. Are there other things you still want to do, even though you're so busy with everything you're doing now, Vanessa?
I'm creating a cashmere collection, which will be in my store starting fall or September. I'll be
Wow,
doing the rest of the store. There's lots of things. There's always
lots of
lots of
things.
things. And it comes up to you when it's ready to say, here I am. This is the next step.
That's right. Exactly. So for
So
folks who are hearing about the Noel Shoe Museum, as you're still, it's in progress now and you're looking for the spot and everything there in New York, what do you hope people will get from it? What do you hope to present? What is the mission, the vision? What will people be experiencing as it develops?
So I think hopefully being in New York, we're the most creative people in the world here, from artists to decorators to designers, um, curators. So I want to amass this group of people, and we want this museum to be a, a place where wow, we just want to wow you when you come in, whether it's visual. I mean, you know, I even want men to like the museum, even though they're probably horrified when they hear women's shoes or shoes. You know, I spend all my money on my
Get the
my
credit
wife's
card
shoes,
out.
but I want them to walk out and say, "Wow, that was really interesting." Ben Franklin created and designed the first flippers. I mean, there's so much, and you can learn a great deal about history,
Yeah,
construction, technology, how we've
right.
changed through it. So we are going to bring this all forward, including all the incredible, as I say, the artists, the Picassos in my industry. I mean, some of the designers who are now deceased were so influential for what we wear today, and they need to be touted, they need to be delivered and shown. So this is an end game, and I'm very proud of it. And it's I can't wait till the first person buys a ticket and comes in. I think I'll be hiding again in the kitchen and watching. Like, oh my
That's so
gosh, what
cool.
do they think?
When you do the ribbon cutting, grand opening, and all that type of stuff, let me know. You'll
Oh,
get
I hope
there
to
and
come back on your show and say,
help to
hi, I'm
support.
back in the Lovity
Right.
corner.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Maybe even bring the show there or something. But this is really exciting on so many different levels. And again, it's like a culmination. This is like the first of its kind in America, which is
Yes,
extraordinary. It's hard to believe. You would figure maybe there would be something, but it's the
yeah.
first of its kind in America, and it really preserves something quite special, right? The craftsmanship, the artistry, and just what it's all about. I would imagine the places, the eateries, the stores, theaters, whatever is going to be around it, they're going to absolutely love you for all of the, can't believe I'm going to say it, but I am, foot traffic that you're going to bring to them.
I love you, Jim. That's so good.
That's it. All that foot traffic that's going to develop in that area.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, Vanessa, bring it here. Bring it here. We want the foot traffic. Bring it here. You have people
This
fighting.
place we're looking at, there's a restaurant very close. They said, "Oh, if you open, we'll open for breakfast." And I thought, yeah,
Who
I
will
bet you
open for
will.
breakfast just
Yeah.
because of the extra. Why do you love this so much? I always like to ask the guests, what are some of the blessings and joys in your life that um, continue to propel you forward? I mean, you're living your dream, you're in your sweet spot, living your bliss, and creating things that make people feel good about themselves, from the physical feeling of comfort, but also feeling you know. Glamorous in different ways through the work and through the artistry and the creation. What are some of those blessings and joys that are in your life that propel you to continue to do this?
So for me, I think work is a privilege, and it sort of keeps me going, and it's always something new to learn, and it's never boring. And I wake up every day, I say thank you, and today's a new adventure,
Yeah.
and it's really special. If everybody, don't be lazy, and lazy is a dumb word, but it's like, have the guts, jump up, go out, work.
Don't be a
uh,
loafer.
yeah, don't be a loafer. Be that stiletto, bro. It's
You're right. It is.
you work, being an entrepreneur is not for everybody, and that's okay. I mean, it's a tremendous amount of heavy lifting and stress and work
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah.
Uh, but I love it. If I worked for someone else, I'd probably be fired all the time.
Right.
I'd be like, oh,
It's
get rid of that one.
Are you are you always working on designs? I mean, are you inspired like constantly?
Yes, counseling. And I have to say, I think when the lockdown of the pandemic hit was one of the most frightening times, obviously, in my life, not for the obvious reasons, but there was no knowledge of when we were coming out or what the future was going to be. So it was a very weird headspace for me uh, of not creating. And then I just started planning dinner parties in my head and started planning like tablescapes, which was my way of creating. So when we could be with people again, how beautiful these tables would be when I'd have people come into my home. So creating is a part of my world. Without creation, um, I'm a miserable person. So I
Got to
need
keep,
it.
yeah, no, got to keep
Yeah.
creating and connecting. And I know what you mean. I'm right there with you. There's just something about it. It's, you're communal and that connection, which is very important. Some people will say in our society we're going away from communal situations and experiences and connection and empathy and kindness and all
I
that. We
think you
talk
see
about
the
that on the show.
problems of it. I think it's showing up
Yes.
in the kids and
The way
how
people are
they view
reacting to
things.
each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we first came out of lockdown, New York was hit so hard.
In the beginning,
But
it really got
people
hit.
didn't have
Yeah.
the words. They could, we sat with friends, and other than what do you watch on Netflix?
Yeah.
There wasn't
Right.
there
How
wasn't
was
a
the
lot of.
sourdough bread that you baked in the oven? Yeah.
I did not bake any sourdough.
Seemed like everybody else did, right?
And I didn't clean out any closets. I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I? I
That was a
actually
perfect
did do a
time.
flatbread made with yogurt. It was just,
Ooh,
it's really fat, fast, doesn't have to rise. I didn't have the patience for this sourdough, although everybody was making it and
they were
telling me how to
making
do
sourdough bread, right?
it.
That
I
is
was like,
funny.
not baking, no.
No baking. Tell us, you're surrounded by, your creations right there. Tell us about the room that you're in.
So this is my office is off to my left here. So behind me is a wall of a lot of different samples of shoes. Um, some are current, some are a little older. It's a really great space. So when I created this room, I wanted this to look like sort of theater. So there are these long, beautiful curtains. You can see the curtains. Um, and at some point it was supposed to be, when people came, the curtains would be drawn, and you open up these magnificent curtains, and it's theater. These beautiful shoes. Uh, but actually, we keep the curtains open all the time, and we like seeing the shoes all the time, and so do customers. We do a lot of the special ordering of handbags and skins and shoes up here in this room. It's above the store. It's a
Very,
great fun
very
place to be.
cool.
It's got a
Yeah.
lot of soul, Jim.
Yes, I'm sure it does. Gang, here is the website to learn more about everything that we're talking about. It's a terrific website and has a lot of visual and movement to it. I think you'll really enjoy perusing that, and make sure you stop by the store and everything else. I want to show you a couple of things here. Our viewers who are our lovities. Um, oh, I like that. Yeah, John Johnson's here and says also. Vano is a superb cook. That's it.
Hi, John
Uh,
Johnson.
that's it.
So
That's
I
it.
love to cook. I really do. It's another creative passion of
What's your
mine.
specialty?
I don't have one. Um, so, I'm half Italian, but I don't only cook Italian, and I love Persian, I love Indian, and I don't really like cookbooks. Obviously, if I'm cooking Persian food or Indian food, I have to know something from somewhere. But I'm more apt to read a recipe and then put it away. I just need to know what spices, herbs I need, and off I go. And I'm probably a great garbage can cook, or whatever. It all goes in, and you taste it and you create something. And I have no fear in the kitchen.
That's
It's
it.
fun,
I tell
and I
you.
love it when my friends love it. So thanks, John.
And a lot of soul, of course.
And a lot of
And
soul.
he loves my foot traffic comment. Um, and Merlin in Ontario, Canada says, and don't forget, you are a lovity now on the Jim Masters Show live
And
series.
I'm
Pretty
so
cool, huh?
pleased to be.
Of all the
Yes.
things, to be a lovity. I say that to the guests all the time. I say, there are Grammys, Emmys, Tonys, Peabodys, all these fabulous awards, Academy Awards, and so much more, Tellys and Tonys and Clios. How does it feel to be called a lovity on the Jim Masters Show live? Most of the guests say they start tingling, their feet tingle. But although doing what
My
you do, your
shoes are
feet are always
vibrating.
tingling. Oh, see, yeah, her
Maybe I'll
shoes
do a
are
levity
vibrating.
shoe.
One of our guests said he was levitating as a result.
With love.
Well, to put a smile on your face here, somebody that pops in, just wanted to say a quick hello. Mr. George Burns is with us. He's always dapper, and he's got a cigar, and he's got his red hanky there, and of course he's got his beautiful shoes. Look at that! Look
We
how
love
dapper.
that.
Yeah, he's got his shoes. My aunt collected dolls, as I mentioned many times on the
Mm,
show. She was a serious collector of thousands of dollars worth of
wow.
dolls. Really
Wow.
dug for the dolls, and this got passed down to me. So once in a while, I'll slip them on, puts a smile on the face.
Cool.
He loved the conversation, loves everything you represent.
Me
He
too.
sends love to you from him and Gracie. Kind of cool, huh? He hangs down below as our associate producer. He has a cigar
He
and
whispers to you.
he whispers and he's got
Jim asked
his,
this.
hey, that's it. That's right. Talk about this, about that. And he's got his martini down below too. So
Oh,
he's
perfect.
always all
I'm off
set
to
up.
have one too after this.
That's
Friday night.
right. It's Friday night. Exactly. This was awesome. This was really fantastic. And of course, we thank our mutual friend as well, the incomparable
Oh,
Wayne Scott
Wayne Scott
Lucas, who's
Lucas.
been watching and commenting. We thank all the lovely viewers who've been commenting. We're trying to sprinkle a few comments on the air here. I hope you enjoy the time with me as much as I have with you, and whatever expectations you had, we met them here at the Jim Masters Show.
Oh, I loved it, Jim. And I hope someday you'll have me on again. Or
Oh,
maybe we can
yes.
get you over to the museum when it's open. And what a phenomenal night this was. Thank you.
I appreciate that. And as my father, and I've said this many times on this show, he told us this since we were kids and has always still saying, I think it was like 9 or 10 when my father said this to me. He goes, Jim, whenever anybody said, he would always give these like adult like nuggets to us kids, which I love. He said, whenever anybody says something kind or nice to you, ask them to please put it in writing and address it management.
Well, I love it to you.
We love it, you back. It was really, really cool. Spread the word about the Jim Masters Show live to other folks you think might like to pop on. It all takes a village. This will be archived on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, so folks can see this again and again and enjoy it. And truly a pleasure, Vanessa. Congratulations on
Oh,
all that
pleasure is
you've done thus
mine.
far, all that you have happening, the museum you're working on, and we will chat again real soon. We'll keep that porch light on for you, my friend, okay?
Thank you, Jim. Have a great Friday night. Huge love.
Uh, l-
Bye.
Lovely, right back at you. Enjoy. Bye-bye now. The incomparable, acclaimed American shoe designer, hotelier, restaurateur, art dealer, philanthropist, founder of the Noel Shoe Museum, which is coming soon, fashion icon, and so much more. That was Vanessa Noel here on the Jim Masters Show. She's so incredibly busy. It's so cool. She's scooting off for some dinner now. She certainly earned it. She sang for her supper on the show tonight. Really a beautiful person inside and out, right? She's real too. That's what I love about her. Sometimes you may hear fashion icon and acclaimed shoe designer and all these things, and you'll be like, oh boy, she's probably not approachable. She's probably not affable. Not Vanessa. She's warm and caring and creative and compassionate. She's authentic and she's real. And what a great conversation we had. As much as she said, she thoroughly enjoyed what the conversation was here on the show, I enjoyed it as much. And, what's great about what we do here is we don't script anything. We do not write questions. We don't have teleprompters. It's all done ad lib. It's all freestyle. We're freestyling here at JMS, and it's conversational. Even though these are supposedly interview style, I don't really call this an interview show. I call it a talk show, like a traditional talk show. Dick Cavett, Johnny Carson, Regis, some of the legends, as we've said. And we make it warm and fun and entertaining on every single episode. If you go back and you binge watch our episodes with all of the incredible folks from television and Broadway, Hollywood, film, music, stage, food, sports, comedy, fashion, inspiration, whatever it may be, every show is different. Every single episode of the Jim Master Show Live is different than the one before and different than the one tomorrow. And I know they say, oh, pick a niche. Well, our niche is life. Our niche are these conversations, bringing conversation back, having a good time, interacting with all of you, and bringing in phenomenally talented celebrity friends and guests like Vanessa Noel. And what was really cool is she shared some of those behind the scenes sketches of some of the work. So you can see how she sketches, the design of the shoe. And that was exclusive because she said she never usually shares those, but she shared them with us here on the Jim Masters Show Live. So now when you see a Vanessa Noel shoe or handbag or scarf, the tote bags, you'll know what went into all of it. And she's got this museum that's coming to New York City, which is amazing, and really, really cool conversation. And thanks for all the activity. A lot of people watching. If you haven't, we would love it if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That helps us grow. It doesn't cost anything. You just hit that red subscribe button. And if you've done that, we thank you so very, very much. That means a lot to us. It does help all of our episodes to get out, to be seen by many more people. There's an algorithm that YouTube has. And when you leave comments on our YouTube channel, not just in the chat room, but in the comments section under the episodes, when you click the thumbs up like, and when you subscribe to the YouTube channel, it helps all this content that we've been providing, hundreds of shows, inching on 1,000 shows in less than 3 years, and thousands of hours of content, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of guests we've had on. It's really amazing, and it allows more people around the world to experience the JMS Lovity Hall experience when you do that, when you click like, leave a comment, and you subscribe to the channel. If you do subscribe to our YouTube channel, again, which is just clicking the red subscribe button, or some people it's a black subscribe button, it's on the front part of our YouTube channel. It doesn't cost anything to do that. And of course, if you do want to support what we're doing here, all this work and all these episodes of our talk show series, you can always hit the heart icon that is super thanks. It's under all the episodes. During the actual show, in the chat section, there are these little icons, super emojis, super stickers, super chat. And a lot of people like to do that, and that helps support us. But at any time, even when the show's not on live or you're watching an archived show, you can hit this heart icon. It's not in the chat room. The heart icon is right there on all the episodes 24/7. And that will help support all that we're doing here. And we really appreciate that. What a great guest. Good conversation, as we always have here. We keep it light and fun and interesting, poignant moments too. Vanessa Noel, fashion icon, shoe designer. That's just the short list right here for you, exclusively on the Jim Masters Show Live series. Wow, so cool. Let's take a look at some comments coming through here as well. We'll slip some in. If you joined us late, you can see the entire episode and all of our episodes right here on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Maybe share the link on your social media if you enjoyed this. And you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Jim Masters TV. The channel where the show is the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Tried to streamline it and make it easy for everybody, just having it all Jim Masters TV, playing off my first and last name. But yeah, really cool. And again, vanessanoel.com. You can learn about all the cool things that she's up to and take a look at some of the designs, her store right there in the heart of New York City. She does everything with love, all handcrafted. She travels the world to find, the materials that she uses in her product. And so, and what's really cool is the story where she said people walk into the store that bought her shoes decades ago and they're still wearing them today. I mean, that shows you the quality, right? And she puts her heart and soul into everything. Thanks for all the great comments, folks, and all the cool stuff. Look for details on the Noel Shoe Museum. We'll keep you posted. We'll have her back for sure. Thanks for all the comments in the comments section and everything else. This is really, really fantastic, and we loved having you guys here, and we really appreciate that. Kathleen Walker, thank you very much. John Johnson being here, everybody that's been here. If you're brand new to the show, stick with us. Join us again. We're here all the time with amazing guests. Matter of fact, we'll be here tomorrow at an early afternoon time, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, because we've got a special guest who's coming in from Scotland. We have award-winning novelist, Scottish novelist, Lexi Elliott is here. She's penned many a novel, and she's got a new one she's going to be debuting here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Merlin, you're correct. The puppies were really quiet. I think they sort of just nodded off. which is kind of nice. That happens all the time. And, you know, our guests have, you know, usually cats or dogs or whatever near their feet. And I say, hey, if they ever jump on your lap, let them. That's perfectly fine. Because I know you guys love when that happens. And good stuff. Thanks for all these great comments. And again, John Johnson, thank you very much. This was awesome. Thank you. Benno and Jim, thank you as well. And I hope you'll come back and spread the word, John, about our series. Good to have you with us, and everybody that's new and everybody that's here all the time, our faithful. Yes, please do come back, Vanessa. Jim leaves the porch light on for all of his guests. Yes, we do. And Jane in Sweden, thank you, Vanessa, for being here. This was a great, interesting show. Thanks, Jim. This show is a real shoe-in. Or as Ed Sullivan used to say, the legendary host of the Ed Sullivan series on CBS, he would say he had a little bit of an accent. He would say it was a very good shoe instead of show, a very good shoe. So this was a very good shoe. And you enjoyed it too. And so did Kathleen. Maureen, thank you very much. A soulful conversation. Spot on. Yes, it was. Full of heart and soul on many levels. You guys are great. All right. Sherry Larson, everybody here, all the lovities and new folks and folks who will watch this later on in the archives who are also lovities. Maybe you don't see the other lovities commenting during the chat, but we've got lovities that watch from around the world, and we hear from them from Europe and Asia and Africa and Australia and New Zealand and all across the United States and Canada and Mexico and South America. And we love and thank you all. We're having a ball here with these shows. And yes, the shoe must go on. The shoe must go on. Absolutely. Kathleen is always so supportive. Get it? Supportive shoes, you know, orthotic. Oh boy, the puns are really, really coming out. Hey, look who's here before we go. Mr. Lovity's here, the little mini Mr. Levity. How cool is this? If you're seeing this for the first time, one of our viewers, Levity viewers, Maureen in Arizona, sent this for Christmas. It's dapper, huh? With a suit, and it's got the Mr. Levity there as well. I know it's funny showing this, right? Did you enjoy the show, Mini Me? He had a blast. He had a blast. He's got some cool shoes on himself, huh? Look at that. How cool is this? I tell you, lots of levity here at JMS, and we love sharing it with all of you. All right, he's going to hang down there with George. All right, that's it. That's a wrap. We're going to be here in the afternoon tomorrow, so join us. Get a cup of coffee or tea, make a sandwich. Join us for an afternoon episode. Don't forget, you can binge all the episodes, hundreds of them, with extraordinary celebrity friends and guests right here on the Jim Masters Show series. And I love this comment too from, we got John Johnson going too. I love this. As the Terminator said, I'll be back. Great interview. Have a great night. Thank you, John. And all of these puns crack you up. That's it. I tell you, you guys are the best. All right. We are going to walk out of here. We're going to shimmy out. We're going to do some soft shoe out of here. And we haven't eaten dinner yet. It is approaching. What is it approaching here? 9 o'clock or so, a little after 9. She's in New York. She's having dinner. We're in the area. We're having dinner now. And we've actually got some chili, some nice vegetarian chili that we made. And I think we're going to have that. It's a little late to have it. Hopefully we won't need any antacids later, but we're very hungry. We haven't eaten in hours, and we're going to have that now. A couple of things. She was talking about Nantucket, and we, of course, have been there. And if you've never been to Nantucket, it's beautiful. It's off the southern New England coast, and so is Martha's Vineyard, and so is Newport, Rhode Island, where we got this. It was in the window in Newport. And I'll show you close. If you can see, it's like an old 1920s, 1930s beach scene. All the people on the beach there in Newport, Rhode Island. I think it's really, really cool, isn't it? That's what it looks like up close. Don't forget to relax. Take care of one another. Love one another. Whenever I do it, it blows out the lights. The lights are trying to adjust. Like, Jim, what are you doing here? Just relax and breathe. Take care of one another. Love one another. And don't forget to take time for yourself. I almost pulled my earpiece out. Actually, I don't even need this now. I'll take it out now. That's usually just here to hear the guest, a little behind the scenes. But we don't need to do that now because she's off having dinner and martinis. Thanks for being with us, gang. We love you all. When we're live, anything can happen, and we like it that way. It makes it real and authentic, right? As opposed to an overly edited experience. I love this, John. Thank you. Everyone, remember too, this is a great channel. Thank you very much. It's the Jim Masters Show on Jim Masters TV. I appreciate that, John. Spread the word. All of these shows you do, Jim, take so much work, and that is no small feat. Notice the spelling, but double entendre there. You would have been great as a contestant on Match Game with Charles Nelson Riley and Brett Summers and Fannie Flagg and Richard Dawson, and of course hosted by the legendary game show host Gene Rayburn. Time to eat. It is 3:10 in the morning. You're going to have a late night snack. You're going to have a little snack there in Sweden where you are. Oh boy. Yeah. You guys are great. Jim Masters here. Thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, as always, we don't say goodbye around here. We say see you later. Ciao, cheers, slancha, sayonara, shalom, avida zain, hasta la vista, boilu, take care, cheerio. And we shall see you on the next one. I will be here waiting for you in the host chair. Take care. Love one another. Be good to one another. And don't forget to love yourself. Take time for yourself. If you're always a doer, doing for everybody else, take time for yourself. Don't forget to give this episode a like. There's a thumbs up button there. Make sure you give it the thumbs up and drop a comment on our YouTube channel if you enjoyed this episode. Let us know what you enjoy. And don't forget to click the subscribe button. Really important. Yeah, I know I hate asking, but it is part of the territory. Click subscribe. We would love that. That helps us and lets us know you're part of the JMS Levity squad here, the Levity family of viewers who love what we're doing. So be well. Thanks for being with us. What a cool episode, right? We'll see you again soon. I'll be back on the Jim Masters Show Live series. Take care and cheers.